What's good, family? It's your boy Old Soul J, and I'm back with another video. I genuinely been thinking a lot about this lately. Is it easier for you to be successful when you have no support or a lot of support? Now, most people would say when you have a lot of support, obviously, right? But I don't know if that's really true. There's a great quote. I believe, I might be mistaken, don't quote me on who exactly it came from, but I know it's from a boxer, a Hall of Fame boxer. It might be Tommy Hearns or Marvin Hagler. He said, it's hard to wake up at 5 in the morning to go running, to train, when you're waking up in silk sheets. Now, what I'm getting at is when you have a huge support system, when you have comfortability, when you have a security blanket to fall on, when you have a cushion, when you have something to cushion your fall in case you get knocked down, you have to have a different level of discipline to execute on your goals when you know that your goals are not your only choice, or that you will be okay if you didn't get those things done. Some people, their goals, or whatever level or wherever they're trying to get to, wherever they're trying to reach, they have no choice. They have no backup. They have no other way. It's all or nothing for some people. They can't afford to lose. Is it easier or is it harder when you can't afford to lose? Because then you have to fight yourself. A person who can't afford to lose, it's a lot easier for that person to tap into that urgency. Think about it like this. If the rent was due in 2 weeks, and let's say the rent was $2,000, a person with $100,000 in their bank account can afford to miss a couple days of work or miss a few days of work. But the person who has $4,000 in their bank account can't afford to miss any pay. If they don't want to end up on the street or end up losing their place, they're most definitely gonna do what they gotta do to make sure the rent is due, to make sure they get the money to make the rent paid. But the person who has the $100K in their bank account, they already got it. So even if they lost that job, they have enough security to be comfortable enough, or to give them some comfort until they find another way. There's no real urgency there. They're not as motivated because they don't have as much to lose. They don't really even have as much to gain. Are you following what I'm saying? Why do you think there's so many people who come from the trenches or come from the bottom, poverty, and make it so far or make it to the top? A lot of the most successful people came from nothing. And that's because they had an unwilling, undying fire to succeed based on the circumstances they were born in. When the person who was born with comfort and ease didn't have that fortitude and that fire to actually do what it takes to achieve certain goals, because they were always comfortable. They're used to being comfortable. What is the quote? Strong people create easy times. Easy times create weak people. Weak people create hard times. Hard times create strong people, and the cycle continues. So if you grew up in easier times, and which would be a strong support system from a child, a lot of times a strong support system is an easier way of growing up than no support or little to none support. That would be hard times. So if you're a person who grew up in easy times with strong support, it is a lot harder for you to be a strong person, because it takes a strong person to achieve big goals. That takes a different level of discipline that you probably didn't have to have as a child. So is it really easier? Because everything is in the mental, right? You might not have that mentality that you need. The person who came from nothing, who went through the hard times with little to no support, they're strong. So when it comes to the hardships that you will face in the path of getting to your goal, getting to the successful place you want to get to, that strong person who went through those hard times, they might be a little more prepared, or maybe even a lot more prepared on how to deal with that discomfort or that challenge or that obstacle than the person who's been used to support and comfort their entire lives. So that begs the question to me, is it easier or is it harder? Which one is really the more difficult path? Now, I believe that really depends on the person. That depends on how bad you want it. But the person who comes from nothing, a lot of times they just have a little bit more fuel. Their reason why is a lot stronger. So if you're a person who grew up in comfort, who grew up with strong support, with a strong support system. If you have big goals, it is very important for you to find a very strong reason why, not accept being average, and to let that reason why be your fuel. You need fuel in order to reach heights that are very high. In order for you to climb a certain mountain, you need fuel to push you. If you don't have a strong, and I say a strong, not just any reason, a strong reason why, then nothing is going to keep you going when times get hard, when the going gets tough. The tough get going. Come on, man. I don't even be planning these things, bro. I'll sit here, I'll pick a topic to talk about, and I just start talking. And every single video, almost every single video, if you watch my videos in the past, I always bring up an old saying that we've all heard our entire lives. These are timeless sayings because they always apply to life. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. As I talk about things and I preach these wise words, a saying comes to my mind that I know you've heard before, that I've heard a million times before, and it applies to the topic that we're talking about. Do I need to explain how that applies? When the going gets tough, the tough get going. You dig?